any genuine Yorkshireman is always going to have a strong affinity with the Yorkshire Dales, and that's particularly the case if you're a photographer and a lover of the outdoors. It's a fantastic location. It's the Yorkshire Dales National Park, some beautiful stunning scenery throughout, and today that's exactly where I am. And it's late in the day because we have about an hour and a half before sunset, and I'm waiting for a couple of the guys who are literally right behind me because we're about to do a little bit of aerial filming of this Jag.
Viewer disclaimer, there's not much photography in this actual episode, it's more Top Gear style low budget hijinks, which I hope you enjoy.
So it's been a little bit of a while since I've had some YouTube videos out, and that's because we've been really busy, to be honest, with a couple of new projects. And as I've just mentioned, we're doing some aerial filming today, and one of those projects is developing two of our aerial filming companies. So we're going to have a little bit of footage of a Jaguar XF, which we're going to use for a couple of projects. Just really need that sun to come out, because at the moment it has gone behind the clouds. Although, to be fair, this is not really our proper filming shoot. Today is really more of a recce. Now we're heading towards a place called the Buttertubs, which is just up from Thwaite in the Dales itself. So hopefully I'll get to show you that very shortly indeed.
Of course, just because this was a recce, it doesn't mean to say that we don't want to get usable shots. So we got the drones up in the air and tried a couple of side tracking shots, some flyovers, and then also tried to get some wider images of the car within the landscape as a whole. The light for a short while was actually really very nice, and although it was going over the back of the hills, we still got some soft light coming through, being reflected around the valley, which looked quite good. That said, the light did dip off, and it did make it a little bit harder to get really usable images, but we did play around with some ideas. We did get a little bit of shots towards the end at the top, just going over the tops into sunset, but the wind was picking up all the time, and we decided for a change of location.
Well, we're having a lot of fun so far. It is incredibly windy, absolutely blowing a gale up here. We've come back to this side of the Buttertubs simply because the wind was so strong. But look at the scenery, it is absolutely epic and awesome. We've got a few nice close-in clips, but these drones are really struggling quite hard in this wind. It's windy as hell. So we're running low on batteries. We've gone through about 4 or 5 batteries already, so we've got a couple of Inspires and also a Phantom 4 Pro here. So I think we're going to have to fire one of the Inspires up and use some batteries there, and let's just crack on and see if we can get a few more clips.
Increased wind speeds made it too dangerous to fly the drones in close proximity to the car, so we decided to try and test out a few more ideas.
What we're about to do is stick a gimbal with an Osmo and an X5 camera onto the back of this car and then drive in front of this car, with the aim of getting some wide angle or relatively wide angle shots of the front of the Jag, nice and smooth, as we're actually just driving down this hill here. So hopefully they'll look okay. Light levels have dropped off, so these are not going to be shots that we use. However, they are going to give us a chance to test this out and see just how they look.
Andy was having a few teething problems getting the suction cups to mount properly onto the car so that they were secure.
Craig's just pointed out a really interesting fact. Looking through the back window, and Andy's got the tongue out.
It's like a Celtic lizard.
That shows a real level of concentration.
Just before we were about to start filming with the Osmo, the wind dropped enough for us to get the Phantom 4 Pro in the air and film a couple of last runs of the Jag. The composition and this scene are exactly what we were looking for, and although the clips aren't perfect, they certainly have given us a very good guide as to what we want to film when we next come back to film our final shots. This clip in particular has a couple of seconds that work really well.
This man used to be an engineer on Harrier jump jets. Can't even operate an Nvidia tablet.
Fucking heck.
Sad times. For the benefits of those of you watching at home in black and white, the southerner is the one stood next to the barn.
Right, I'm going to change the battery just so it doesn't pack in.
Translated for the British people, or for the English, he's going to change the battery so that it doesn't give up the ghost. I'm gonna change the battery for it doesn't pack in, you wee canny lad. He's fueled by Buckfast, but the man's a warrior. He's fueled by yak's milk. I'd like to have one of your finest scones and perhaps a cup of tea.
Cup of tea, Earl Grey, please.
We're just going to do a little bit more testing with this Osmo. We've got the Osmo pointing into the car now, and you're probably going to see a couple of these clips shortly. I'm just going to leave these lights on, and better put my belt on. It is a legal requirement for health and safety in the UK. So we've got this going here. I'm going to clap so that I can actually sync this audio to the Osmo, hopefully. So as I'm driving along now, you'll be able to see how smooth the Osmo is when it's mounted onto the bonnet. And I've left the interior lights on in the car, as I say, and we've just adjusted the shutter speeds and the frame rate, so we're just at 30 frames per second now as opposed to 24, and we are at 1/60th of a second in terms of the shutter speed, which is double the frame rate. A bit of boring technical stuff. However, you can see that the shots are actually pretty steady, or they should be pretty steady, and we're on some really bumpy roads here. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually swap this camera over shortly and stick it into the Jag. You can see me looking to the left as I'm checking out the screen that Craig's holding. Well, we have pushed our luck on fuel here, that has to be said. Because I've been on empty for about 30 miles now. Close call. Close call. Very, very close. Never been that low. Hello, 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 hello. We've stocked up on the essential photography tool, Turkish Delight. So I'm just going to stock these boys up with a couple of Turkish Delights. Essential photographic equipment, Turkish Delights. This is essential photography fuel for any professional. Where we go? Where we going?
Just a few wrappers on the floor in the back.
Yes. Are you going to go for the world chicken nugget eating record?
No, because 20 does me.
I think it's 120 nuggets in 12 minutes.
It is.
Can you do it?
No. I want to watch you do it though.
Oh, I reckon I could do it today.
I'll even buy it just to watch.
I reckon Andy's up for it.
Despite not starting to film the Jag until much later in the day, we'd been up very, very early. It was around 1 o'clock in the morning when we got into McDonald's at Durham Services. Despite our earlier motivation to try and break the world record of eating 120 chicken nuggets in less than 12 minutes, common sense won out and we ended up with a more modest portion of 5 chicken selects. We did actually squeeze a few photos out on the way back, of which this is one of them, and this is Andy's Jag, just painted actually with a tiny little handheld torch that was inside one of our photography bags, just pulled up at the side of the road. That was it for today, and we decided it was time for sleep. Thanks for watching, see you next time.